We continue from the previous episode as Dan Jucheon and Dan Baekhyun's heated argument continues, their voices clashing in front of Yeo-Un, leaving him visibly annoyed. The Grand Guardian suddenly appears behind Yeo-Un. Jucheon, his temper spiking, shouts in disbelief. What? Who are you to act as though you represent this palace and dare to draft a contract? Baekhyun fires back. And what about you? You're no representative of this palace either. Jucheon's eyes shift slightly toward Yeo-Un, his thoughts dark and calculating. It seems things are going as planned. Even if he's irritated, Lord Cheon won't make a rash move before the assembled members of the Northern Sea Ice Palace. A wicked grin spreads across his face as he thinks further. Even if Lord Cheon cuts me down here, Dan Baekhyun will earn nothing but the resentment of everyone present. I must ensure Lord Cheon cannot interfere in our internal matters. Dan Jucheon steps forward and declares, Baekhyun, if you seek outside help in this manner, do you think the palace members will easily follow you once you obtain the divine relic? Baekhyun, sweat dripping down his face, shouts back, How ridiculous! Why did you ask cult leader Cheon for the divine relic then? Isn't it because you can't violate our palace's founding decree? Cheon Yeo-Woon raises his head, amused as he asks, Decree? Baekhyun hurriedly explains, It's the will left by our palace's founding master. A decree stating that whoever obtains the divine relic shall be recognized as the true master of our palace, the palace master. Dan Jucheon quickly seizes the moment and shouts, Cult leader Cheon, I implore you, make the right decision. He added, If you give me the divine relic, our palace will fully support your cult. But Baekhyun quickly interjected, raising his hand, Cult leader Cheon, you mustn't fall for this man's words. Meanwhile, Yeo-Un smiled slightly and said, But you said that whoever obtains the divine relic is the true master of the North Sea Ice Palace, right? Beaming with joy, Yeo-Un raised the staff forward as it emitted a chilling cold chi. This divine relic is in my hands right now. Both Dan Jucheon and Dan Baekhyun's faces filled with horror as they realized what he meant. Jucheon frowned, cold sweat running down his face, as he pondered deeply. What nonsense is this person spouting? Why joke about the divine relic now? Ko Wong-her, standing behind Yeo-Un, heard his words and grinned slightly, thinking, His lordship isn't someone who speaks carelessly. He must be aiming to take over the North Sea Ice Palace. Mun-ku, watching from the side, noticed the tense atmosphere and pondered. The original plan was just an alliance with the North Sea Ice Palace. Won't there be significant backlash? Jucheon's expression darkened as he lowered his gaze. Cult leader Cheon, I think your statement just now was a bit excessive. That is our palace's divine relic. It's a completely different matter from the dragon turtle issue. Baekhyun also lowered his voice, bowing his head. Cult leader Cheon, we're grateful for your help. But if an outsider becomes our palace master just by possessing the divine relic, wouldn't that be? Yeo-Un looked straight at them and cut in sharply. Didn't you say it yourselves? That whoever obtains the divine relic becomes the true master of the North Sea Ice Palace. Dan Jucheon quickly tried to interject. Cult leader Cheon, that's the founding decree passed down to US. The Dan family bloodline. It wasn't meant for everyone. Baekhyun immediately looked at him and nodded. He is right about that. But then Baekhyun's eyes widened as he noticed something ahead. He flinched and muttered, What do you mean? Meanwhile, Yeo-Un raised 2 fingers, powerful blue chi enveloping them. In an instant, he shot out thin chi blades from his fingertips onto the ground, each strike carving marks across the floor. Jucheon and Baekhyun stood frozen, shocked, as they silently watched. As the dust cleared, words appeared on the ground, etched sharply in different characters. Only one who obtains the extreme cold ice staff and its hidden power is truly qualified to be the palace master. Yeo-Un calmly raised his hand and asked, Wasn't this the inscription on the statue of the founding master? Baekhyun's face stiffened as he recalled the moment earlier. He thought in disbelief. He only glanced at it briefly, yet he remembered it perfectly. With a solemn voice, Yeo-Un stepped forward. Do you think I obtained the divine relic easily? Then why haven't your lords and past palace masters been able to obtain it until now? The first elder behind Baekhyun pondered deeply. The young palace master has legitimacy, but he lacks the skill to even properly cultivate the ice-white divine arts. He then turned his gaze toward Cheon's back, his thoughts dark. The acting palace master is indeed the hegemon of the North Sea, but he's a traitor who brought in outsiders, awakened the dragon turtle, and harmed the former palace master. Murmurs began to spread among the members of the Northern Sea Ice Palace. Baekhyun quickly turned back, his eyes widening as he saw their reactions. One of them said, "Certainly, it's unbelievable, but it was cult leader Cheon who defeated the dragon turtle that past palace masters couldn't handle and saved us." The other one added, "Moreover, didn't he find the divine relic that was almost lost forever?" Dan Baekhyun quickly noticed them and pondered. Could it be the palace members are wavering? Dan Cheon immediately sent a voice transmission to Baekhyun. "Do you now realize what you've done?" Baekhyun was left stunned. Cheon sighed and muttered, "Fine, whatever." He added coldly, "If we don't resolve this situation now, our palace will fall into the hands of the demonic cult. You wouldn't want this to become an issue separate from the alliance either, would you?" Baekhyun, listening to Cheon's transmission, stayed silent for a moment, then slowly nodded. Cheon pressed further. "You're also of the Dan family bloodline, so you must know about the secret hidden in the founding decree. The divine relic, the extreme cold ice staff, chooses a qualified owner. What do you think that qualification is?" Baekhyun replied firmly, "The blood of the Dan family." Cheon quickly agreed. "That's right. Even if he's the demonic cult leader, he cannot be chosen by the divine relic. We must exploit this point." The divine relic stood upright in front of Yeo-Un as he silently watched them finish their exchange. Then, Cheon boldly stepped forward and shouted, "Cult leader Cheon, do you perhaps know? Our palace's divine relic, the extreme cold ice staff, has the mystical power to choose its owner." The entire crowd gasped in shock and amusement. Cheon quickly added, "The founding master's spirit dwells within it." Yeo-Un coldly glanced at him and asked, "And what of it?" Dan Baekhyun quickly stretched out his hand. "Cult leader Cheon, without being chosen by the divine relic, one cannot be called the true owner." Yeo-Un sighed softly, a faint smile on his lips. "Are you saying, can you prove who the true owner is?" Cheon's eyes lit up as he yelled inwardly, "Got him." Placing his fist on his chest, he declared, "The divine relic was created by the founding master of the North Sea Ice Palace. Of course, we can prove our ancestors' mystical power." Yeo-Un's expression remained calm but amused. "Interesting." He then stepped aside, his voice steady. "Very well. Let's see this proof you speak of." Baekhyun's eyes widened in disbelief. "Huh, he's giving us a chance so easily?" Cheon's grin widened as he thought. He must be certain there's no such thing, because he's held the extreme cold ice staff himself. "You'll regret giving us this chance, young demonic cult leader." He then gestured slightly toward Baekhyun, urging him forward. Baekhyun gritted his teeth, anger flashing in his eyes. "He thinks I'm not qualified, so he's deliberately giving me a chance. I'll shatter that confidence of his." Stepping forward, Baekhyun approached the divine relic. His hand trembled as he reached for the staff, his thoughts burning. "Father, founding master, past palace masters." He grasped the staff. Instantly, powerful cold chi erupted, surging outward in violent waves. Baekhyun clenched his teeth, silently praying, "Please, help ensure our divine relic doesn't fall into the hands of this traitor." But within 3 short seconds, a massive icy chi enveloped him completely. His body trembled as he struggled to withstand it. His mind roared in shock. "What is this? This cold is beyond imagination." The council elder with glasses, standing behind Dan Baekhyun, quickly shouted, "Young palace master, please use the ice-white divine arts. You must endure it to be chosen." But before Baekhyun could hold on any longer, his hair began turning white as the cold chi penetrated his body. Then boom, Baekhyun was blasted back, unable to withstand the overwhelming ice chi. The elder with glasses darted forward with agile steps, catching him in midair. "Young palace master," he cried. Baekhyun clenched his teeth in pain as the elder glanced at his frostbitten hands, his thoughts grim. He was repelled by the divine relic the moment he used the ice-white divine arts. Does this mean the young palace master wasn't chosen by it? Dan Cheon slowly stepped forward, his voice echoing through transmission toward Baekhyun. How foolish, Bacon. There's one thing you don't know. Turning slightly, a mocking smile curved on his lips. Of course, being of the Dan bloodline is a requirement, but there's something even more important. He sneered as he explained. As you've just experienced firsthand, to become the owner of the divine relic, one must possess the power and cold chi strong enough to subdue it. In other words, it's not something that can be coveted by someone who has only mastered the 5th level of the ice-white divine arts. Bacon could only glare at Cheon through clenched teeth, his body trembling. Cheon stepped forward confidently, raising his hand toward the relic. Cult leader Cheon, may I prove myself now? Yeo-Un's voice came without hesitation, calm and cold. As you wish. Cheon's grin widened as he drew closer to the divine relic. His hand hovered above the staff as greed flickered in his eyes. Finally, this moment has come. If I'm chosen by the divine relic, even the elders in the security hall won't be able to oppose me anymore. At once, he unleashed the ice-white divine art, 8th level. A powerful shockwave erupted, the ground trembling as enormous ice pillars shot upward with a deafening crack. His confidence swelled as he roared inwardly. Now behold, the extreme ice-white divine arts. But the ice chi only grew more violent, surging outward, freezing the ground all around. The members of the ice palace at the back staggered as the overwhelming cold chi swept over them. Dan Cheon's eyes widened in shock. Looking at his palm, he realized. The cold chi, it's penetrating my hand. What the? The icy force surged stronger, spreading uncontrollably. Still clutching the relic, Cheon felt stabbing pain coursing through him. Even using the ice-white divine arts at its extreme level, I can't subdue it. I can even feel a strange repulsive force. Why is it rejecting me? The first elder raised his hand to block the incoming waves of ice chi, quickly shouting, "Acting palace master, it's too dangerous to continue. Please step back." But Cheon's eyes turned bloodshot as he roared, "Don't be ridiculous." Blood gushed from his hand as his flesh began to freeze solid. He screamed, "I am the pinnacle of the North Sea Ice Palace." Then boom, a mighty blast erupted as the ice chi engulfed Dan Cheon completely. Dan Juc Cheon, acting palace master, the first elder cried in alarm. Meanwhile, Bacon, still receiving treatment, stared forward in disbelief. Cheon collapsed to his knees, gasping heavily, patches of his body encased in ice. His lips trembled as he muttered, "Impossible! How could this happen?" Suddenly, a shadow loomed over him. Cheon looked up, gritting his teeth in shock. Yeo-Un stood before him. With ease, Cheon Yeo-Woon casually placed his hand on the golden staff. "Now that you've directly handled the divine relic, do you understand?" He swung the staff up, resting it effortlessly on his shoulder. His cold gaze fell on the kneeling Cheon. "What I meant," Yeo-Un said icily, "when I said I can't give you the staff." If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Bye.